Welcome back once again to our lecture series, Theories of Crime Causation. And today we are going to discuss, or in this video, we are going to discuss those theories related to biological theories. However, in here, they are referring to the body types or the physique of a person, and especially or specifically, we call them as the somatotyping theories. Again, your lecturer today is Darlito Bernard G. Delizo, your Tatay D, Sir D, or Dr. D. And of course, the purpose of this lecture on somatotyping is to enable the learners or the viewers to rephrase the main concept of somatotyping theory, meaning they could be able to explain in their own language, in their own words, what is somatotyping theory, and identify the different body physique and in relation to crime causation. Now, the word somatotyping, it has something to do with trying to characterize a person based on his or her physique or physical structure. But on the area of somatotyping theory, it has something to do with relating the body figure or the body physique to behavior and criminality. Okay, so there are people who are trying to explain or who try to explain that the physique of the body of the person may speak well of his we call it health, may speak well of his attitude and something like that. But in criminology, when we say somatotyping theory, more or less we are relating a body physique to a behavior, particularly to a criminal behavior. And it began with the work of German psychiatrist and neurologist, psychopathologist Ernst Kritzmer. So siya yung nag-aaral ng mga tao patungkol kung meron silang problema sa utak. Okay? At kung sila ay may mga pagkasiraulo or whatsoever. And to Ernst Kritzmer, meron siyang apat na body physiques. In your module, I suppose, you only have three. But there are four, according to Ernst Kritzmer, and that is the sthenic, the athletic, the picnic, and the dysplastic. So pag sinabing sthenic, kayo mga payatot dyan, mga patpatin. Okay, kayo, bagay nyo ang magpulis at magsundalo, magsap yung mga payat sa inyo kasi mahirap kayong tamaan ng bala, no? Okay, so the athletic on the other hand, these are the medium to tall, strong muscular coarse bones, na? Ito yung mga maskulado, pinanganak pa lang, meron ng abs, meron ng 6 na abs, no? Yan. At pati mukha niya may abs. Ganun yan. Okay? Yung mga athletics, masulan hanggang mukha. No? Ayan. Okay? So, yung picnic naman, hindi ito yung pagkain sa labas, but rather referring to medium height, rounded figure, massive neck, and broad face. Ito yung mga tinatawag natin tatlo ang baba. Yan. Tatlong baba mga yan. Okay? Malalapad ang mukha. Eh kung sa babae, ang tawag natin diyan mga matataba, you call them BMW or Bilbil mo walo, no? Mga tawag natin diyan, okay? So on the other hand, meron din siyang tinatawag na dysplastic figure. Ito yung malproportion body. A combination of any of the above. Maskulado sa taas, patpatin sa baba, vice versa. Okay? So yun ang dysplastic na sinasabi ni Ernst Kreitzmer. So again, if we are going to relate that with the body type of William Sheldon, you have the athletic compared to mesomorph, picnic considered to endomorph, and sthenic compared to the ectomorph of William Sheldon. But again, you have to remember that Ernest Krismer, his initial understanding or explanation about body physique is with regard to mental disorder, not on criminal behavior. So, as psychiatrist, as I've mentioned, Kretschmer related these body shapes to various psychiatric disorders. So, accordingly, those picnics, sino yung mga picnics? Ito yung mga tinatawag natin mga matataba, ano? Yan. So, may manic depression sila. Yung mga asthenics, mga payat, saka athletics, sila yung mga may schizophrenia. Or pag sinabing may schizophrenia, sila yung mga siraulo. Yun ang sabi niya. So, according to Merriam-Webster, manic depression, also known as bipolar disorder, any of several psychological disorders of mode characterized usually by altering episodes. Take note, altering episodes. Ano yan? In Tagalog, we call that may tawag natin sa aming mga Ilocano, sabi namin, bulan-bulanin. Or in Tagalog, kabuwanan. Parang gano'n, no? May depende kung bilog ang buwan o hindi. Yan ay nagkakaroon ng pagkasinto-sinto, parang ganon. So, alternating episodes. Ngayon, normal siya, bukas abnormal. And there's a findings that women or the women population are mostly having bipolar disorder. Kaya unawain nyo yung mga jowa nyong babae. Okay? Na tawag natin may pagkasinto-sinto minsan. Yun ang sabi ni Kirchner, normal daw yan. And mania. Okay? Alternating episodes of depression and mania. Yung, sabi ko nga, yung may tawag natin, may pagkasira ulo. It is also known as bipolar disorder. Okay, so what else? What about schizophrenia? So prenia, it talks about the head, it talks about the brains, okay? Or prenya, it talks about sa ulo natin or sa brain natin or sa pag-isip natin. So schizophrenia, uh, it is also called as dementia. That should be dementia. That is not the dementia. That should be dementia praecox. A mental disorder that is characterized by disturbances in thoughts such as delusions. Parang iba yung mga iba sa inyo. Yan. Yung akala nila pasado na sila sa class yun. You are just deluding, no? Mayroon kayong delusion, di ba? Perception such as hallucination. Okay? Pag tinignan niya yung katabi niya, ang tingin niya ay ibang tao o nag-hallucinate yan. Okay? Pag nakita mo yung grades mo na bagsak, ang tingin mo pasado, you are hallucinating. Okay? And behavior such as disorganized speech or catatonic behavior. Anong disorganized speech? Kung ano-anong mga pinagsasabi, hindi nagkakatugma-tugma. Yan, even yung kanyang ginagawa hindi magkakatugma, catatonic behavior. Okay? In Ilocano, catatonic, we call that katok. Like that, no? You ask your classmates na mga Ilocano ano yung katok. By a loss of emotional responsiveness and extreme apathy. Apathy, wala itong pakialam or hindi ito nakikisimpatiya. Means wala. And by noticeable deterioration in the level of functioning in everyday life. So, nakita mo yan na in everyday, nagde-deteriorate yung kanyang mental ability. Mas tumatagal, mas lalong tinatawag natin, nakikita yung kanyang pagkasira ulo. So, sino raw mga yon? Sabi ni Kirchner na may tendency, yung mga maskulado daw sa kanyang mga payat. Yun ang sinasabi niya. On the other hand, we have William Sheldon. So we mentioned a while back about his somatotypes or the body physique. He is an American psychologist and physician. So doctor of medicine ito, at the same time psychologist, a doctor of human behavior. Okay, so when a person is an endomorph, yung mataba at maliit, okay, ito yung mga problema nilang tawag natin magbawas ng timbang. He described them as outgoing. Mga outgoing naman yan. Mga tawag natin mga extrovert. Yan. Palakaibigan. Yan. Masayahin. Pero Sila yung mga tamad at selfish, makasarili. Obvious naman eh. Kaya nga hindi bumababa ang timbang niya kasi tamad eh, di ba? Tamad mag-workout. Saka selfish, sarili lang gusto. Obvious naman kapag mataba ang tao, talagang makasarili yan sa pagkain. Siya lang ang gusto niyang kumakain. Okay? So, mesomorph, on the other hand, these are physically powerful, aggressive, and athletic physiques, tend more than others to be involved in illegal behavior, as mentioned by Adler and company. So, that is according to Sheldon. Okay, sabi niya, itong mga muscle man, okay, sila yung mga malalakas at sila ang aggressive at sila yung mga more or less madaling ma-involve sa illegal behavior. On the other hand, the skinny one, the weak and usually tall, these are the ectomorph. They have low testosterone. Yan. Levels, kaya daw tumangkad. Yan. Okay? Described as intelligent, gentle, and calm. However, they are self-conscious. Meaning, lagi nang titignan sarili na kung baka may pagkakamali like that, baka may mali sa kanila. That's why they tend to be an introvert kasi may nahihiya, natatakot, anxious. Di ba? Kaya introvert yan kasi ayaw naglalabas kasi baka may masabing ng ibang tao tungkol sa kanya, makriticize siya. That's why, according to Sheldon, ang mga behavior niyan, they tend to become an introvert. Remember that Sheldon did not, we call it, specify whether the endomorph and ectomorph commits crime. But he said that the mesomorph are the group of people having the greatest or the largest or the the highest tendency to commit crime. In other words, it may be on the contrary of the word of Sheldon, the endomorph and the ectomorph may also commit crimes, but not as frequent as those mesomorphic people. Okay, so tignan nyo na yung mga katawan nyo yan. Okay, so both of the sexes are presented in this figure. Okay, so yan, yung nasa gitna, yun daw ang mga more or less nag-commit ng crime. Okay. We have Sheldon Glowick and Eleanor Glowick. These two are couple. They are, we call it spouses, Glowick, mag-asawa. They supported the idea in their article 10 Years of Unraveling Juvenile Delinquency. And they support the idea of Sheldon and Kretschmer. Remember, si Kretschmer, kinategorize niya ang body physique but in relation to mental disorder. Si Sheldon naman, more or less, nirelate niya doon sa behavior ng tao, yung body physique. Although, minention ni Sheldon na yung mga maskulado ang may pinakamataas na level ng tendency na mag-commit ng criminal behavior. Okay, so si Sheldon and Glowick or si Sheldon Glowick and Eleanor Glowick ay pinagpatuloy lang nila yung work ni Sheldon, okay? Or ni Kretschmer. Yan. Okay, so on the other hand, Professor Wesley Dopertuis, a distinguished authority in the field of, we call it somatotyping, he is also a trained anthropologist, nag-aral ng mga tao. Is lavish in his praise of the work of Glowick couples, meaning siya ay tinatawag natin tuwan-tuwa at pinagmamalaki niya at interesado siya doon sa work ng mag-asawang si Glowick. So according to the Glowick, Glowick and Glowick, they found out that 60.1% of the delinquent group are mesomorphic with relative predominance of muscles, bone, and connective tissue, mga maskulado. And 14.4% of the delinquents were found to be ectomorphic. Okay? So yung mga ectomorphic, yung mga natawag natin mga payat, with relative predominance of linearity and fragility and in proportion to their mass. Okay, with the greatest surface area and hence relatively the greatest sensory exposure to the outside world. Yan, si mga natawag niya mga ectomorphic. Yun daw, na-involve din daw sa crime pero nasa 14.14% lamang daw. Pinakamarami pa rin yung mga muscle man. Okay, so parang kay William Sheldon. Okay, so yun ang findings nila, no? Parehas kay William Sheldon that the muscle men, the mesomorphic are the group of people who are having that higher tendency to commit delinquency. Now we have Ernest Houghton, on the other hand, an American physical anthropologist. He examined the relationship between personality and physical type. Now, si Ernest Houghton, talagang specific yung study niya. Unlike kay Sheldon, kay Glueck at kay Kretschmer, na si Kretschmer ay patungkol sa mental disorder. Okay, si Sheldon naman ay patungkol lamang sa behavior ng mga taong ito at yung possibility of involvement to criminal. Same with the Glueck spouses. But we have Ernest Houghton na talagang specific na sinasabi niya na ang pangangatawan ng tao, okay, ay merong explanation yan or merong kaakibat na personality at kung anong crime ang nakukumit na mga yan. So he believed in Lombroso's theory of the born criminal, that according to Lombroso, there are characteristics that could distinguish a criminal with or from the non-criminals. And after surveying American criminals, pinag-aralan niya, parang si Lombroso, pinag-aralan niya mga itsura ng criminal. Houghton tried to find evidence supporting Lombroso's theory. So, sinusuportan niya after more than 100 years. Here comes Houghton trying now to support Lombroso's theory. And he suggested that criminals have inferior characteristics, mababang characteristics, inferior compared to people who do not commit crimes. So for Ernest Houghton, okay, he classified those characteristics into sociological, psychological, physical, morphological, and pathological areas. So meaning, uh, pwede kong maklasify ang tao sa kanyang sociological description, psychological, physical, or morphological, or pathological. Okay, so according to Houghton, okay, ang mga criminal, they are less often married and more often divorced. Meaning, sasabi niya, ang mga nagiging criminal normally ay mga walang asawa at kung mayroong mga asawa yan, karamihan yung mga nagdi-divorce. So kapag nagdi-divorce daw, sabi niya, mataas ang tendency na maging criminal. And they often have tattoos. Sabi niya, kapag nagpapatattoo yung tao, sabi niya, psychologically, ito yung mga tao na maaring mataas yung tendency na mag-commit ng crime and have thinner beards and body hair. So hindi sila balbon, mas manipis yung mga bigote. Okay, so that's now on the morphological explanation, and their hair is more often reddish brown and straight. Okay, have blue gray or mixed colored eyes and less often dark or blue eyes. So, and low sloping foreheads and high nasal bridges and thin lips. Ears often have rolled helix and perceptible Darwin's point. Meaning, nasabi niya na ito yung mga characteristics similar to the characteristics na pinupoint out ni Lombroso at ni Charles Darwin. Ito yung mga more or less mga appearances na mga matataas ang tendency na mag-commit ng crimes. So Houghton suggested specifically kung ano yung mga type of person na magkukumit ng crime. Yung matatangkad na payat, the tall and slender men, accordingly they are predisposed to committing murder and robbery. The tall, medium, heavy men for forgery, yung mga matataba daw, mga swindler, sabi niya, mga forgers. Tall, heavy men, mga kayo matatangkad na tawag natin na matataba, they are ito mga pinaka most aggressive normally na involved yan sa first degree murder. Sa mga medium height, they are for antisocial behaviors. Short, slender, maliit na payat. Ito yung mga magnanakaw. Obviously naman, madaling magnakaw yan, madaling makyat, madaling lumusot sa mga butas, no? Maliliit sila eh. At payat. And the short, medium, heavy, they are the arsonists, mga matataba daw. Hindi ako naniwala yan kasi may kilala akong arsonist sa La Union noon. Hindi naman ganyan description niya. But of course, that's according to Houghton. While short, heavy men for sex offenses. Yung mga maliliit daw na tawag natin, mga bansot, di ba? Sabi niya, mga prone daw yan sa sex offenses. Kaya mag-ingat sa mga kaklasin yung medyo bansot. So Houghton advocated the removal of criminals from society, seeing no hope in the rehabilitation. So, same with Lombroso. Sabi ni Lombroso, dapat mamatay ang mga mayroong physical stigmata or mga physical signs ng pagiging kriminal. Okay, para walang kriminal. Ganon din ang sabi ni tawag natin Goddard. Dapat wag hayaang mag-reproduce ang mga may pagka-feeble-minded kasi sila yung mga mag-commit ng crime. So ganon din si Houghton, sinasabi niya na yung ganitong mga klaseng tao, yan. So they should be removed. No? I mean, kailangan ikulong mga yan. Kasi pag nasa komunidad yan, sila yung mga magiging kriminal according to Houghton. Ang problema, almost pare-parehas naman lahat yan na nagdi-describe sa lahat ng uri ng tao. Di ba? So parang sinasabi ni Houghton na lahat ng tao ay may tendency na mag-commit ng crime. And the crime that you're going to commit will be dependent on your body physique. Yan. So tingnan yung katawan nyo kung ano yung mga inclination nyo na mag-commit ng crime dyan. Diba? So this is it, no? Yung sabi ni Ernst Houghton na magiging crime na nakukumit ng mga depende sa pangangatawan. Yan, tignan nyo sa gitna, mga malaking tao, malaking mama. Yan daw yung mga pwede mag-commit ng mga first degree murder, yung mga karumal-dumal na pagpatay. Diba? Okay, so here are some points to ponder before closing this lesson. Is the theory applicable in today's society? Again, the answer there is it may be yes, it may be no. Okay, because we are talking about theory. Again, theory may be manifesting general truths, but it may not be true to everyone because there are circumstances to consider why a person is motivated or was forced to commit a crime. So it may be applicable, but have you heard of any suspect of violent crimes and then the suspect body is so fat or so thin? Most likely the suspect body is mesomorphic or somewhat like an athletic body type. So, yun siguro, pagiging mesomorphic, malamang, no? Sila yung mga talagang matatapang naman kasi mga risk taker. Kasi mga nagko-commit ng violations, yan yung mga risk taker eh. Matatapang ang loob ng mga yan. Kaya, huwag kayong magtaka pag sa criminology maraming kalukuhan. Kasi kayo yung mga matatapang ang loob na gustong magpulis, gustong magsundalo. No? That's a reality. Kaya, don't bother too much or do not bother if or do not worry if you are tagged as the primary suspects kapag may mga kalukuhan dyan sa eskwelahan kasi kayo nga yung mga tawag natin mga matatapang na mga estudyante. Okay, so with that, the second to the last points to ponder, whose theories explain reliably when it comes to body physique and its relation to crime. Of course, most of them or all of them except for Ernst Kritzmer because he related them to psychiatric disorder. Kasi nga psychiatrist nga naman siya. So hindi niya ito nire-relate sa pagiging kriminal. Ang pinaka-most specific naman dyan or pinaka tawag natin, pinaka-comprehensive ang relationship niya ng body physique and criminality is Ernst Houghton. Okay, so with that, again, thank you for listening. God bless you all.